Views expressed by Casters Guild members are only the opinions of that member, and that could change from day to day. Guild members may use mature language, but that in no way means they are mature. Listener discretion is advised.
The clock just struck midnight. Turn off all the lights, pop some popcorn, cuddle up on the couch, and turn up the volume. That safe feeling you had just a bit ago is getting ready to go away, but you just can't wait. And that's the spell we're casting tonight on Casters. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Casters Guild. I am Guildmaster and popcorn enthusiast Rick Perry.
And I am Guildmaster Baron Final Girl Kane.
And joining us for the first time tonight is a new guild member. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Guild member Ashley Kane or Vinakeva on social media.
So tonight we're talking horror movies, and a question we often like to start with is, what's your favorite? So what is your favorite horror movie?
That's kind of a big question.
It is. And it's okay if you have like a small list.
A small list. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's always how these end up, is what's your favorite? And then we end up with like our favorite from each category of.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Favorites. Okay. So Suspiria, the original one. The remake wasn't too bad. Completely different movie, which was probably the best thing for it. Get Out was really good. I really enjoyed Cabin in the Woods. Silent Hill's a good one. Session 9 is absolutely phenomenal. House on Haunted Hill is a good one. Possession is fantastic. I love the Jewish bent on the classic exorcism story. That's a humongous question, not fair.
So Baron, same question.
Tucker and Dale versus.
Oh,
all right.
You're gonna find out real quick what I think about horror movies.
I will say I definitely don't have the experience with horror movie. Our guest, two of mine were already on her list, so I would say Cabin in the Woods and Get Out are definitely. I'd like to add. I'm not sure if it counts as a horror movie, but Red State. I think I want to add.
Counts. Totally counts.
I really enjoyed Red State. When it comes to one of the reasons I don't watch a ton of horror movies is because a lot of times I can see what's coming from like a mile away, and it kind of sucks some of the joy out of it. But Red State, I never saw what was coming. Every time something new happened, I was like, that is nowhere on the radar of what I was. So really enjoyed it.
It was probably the most creative execution scene I have ever seen.
Yeah, I think I was watching a evening with Kevin Smith, and he was talking about when he was writing Red State, and every time he talked about where he knew he was what was coming next in his own mind, he would immediately change course and write something completely different, to the point where when he was getting to the ending, he had no idea what he was to end it, and like that was like the hardest part, was trying to come up with an ending for it. But he got there.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I can't relate. I've never seen it.
It's a tough watch.
It is.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So I would have a hard time.
You would.
Yeah. To our listeners at home, I am a big sensitive baby when it comes to movies like that. I have friends who delight in movies like that. Some have even watched the Serbian film and have loved it. And I am just I'm not on that level.
I haven't braved that one.
No. I know to avoid it.
So, Ashley, what draws you to horror?
I've been thinking about that, and I think anybody around our age who go back to the shit we were exposed to with Disney and Don Bluth, who is an asshole, and my reason for my abandonment issue in childhood and into adulthood, I'd have to say it probably comes from there. Like I really enjoy. I like being scared.
Yeah.
I don't being scared after the movie stops, but sometimes that does happen. And I enjoy the ability for the wide range of social commentary that you can include in horror. It's a good escape, but it can make you think too.
That raises a really good point. Like I never thought about it going back to, but that makes a lot of sense.
My favorite Disney movie is Pinocchio, and I didn't actually think about it until we were watching documentary yesterday, and they brought up the transformation scene on Jackass Island, whatever that island was called, and the kid turns into the donkey. Oh, that was even before the howling and all that. That was a fantastic transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that you bring up the effects that, the stuff that we experienced as kids. I just showed the Spawn. We watched the pitch meeting, the newest pitch meeting from Screen Rant was on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Nice.
Oh, God.
And
Nice.
she watched the whole pitch meeting, and she was like, "That kids?" Like, yeah,
Yep.
So that tunnel scene could.
It was like the spliced dick pic in the movie. You just get through it and you're like,
Yeah.
did that
What?
happen?
What
Oh,
happened? That scene alone, you could have showed to people in like the 40s, and they would have been terrified.
Yep.
Yeah, like movies like Black Cauldron.
Oh
and, Dark Crystal.
Oh God, Dark Crystal. Phenomenal.
Was the Black Cauldron, was that one of the Disney ones that Don Bluth worked on?
I don't know if Don Bluth worked on it. I know it comes from that reusing animation era of Disney.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the scenes that you see in Sword in the Stone are ripped right out of Black Cauldron.
Oh, right.
But
yeah, the practical effects be another thing, going back to why I like horror movies. It just kind of morphed into that. I just like seeing the makeup and the creatures and the characters, and it goes back to that's why Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek, because of the practical makeup.
yeah, even if you're not into the horror, you can definitely appreciate the work that goes a lot of those practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I enjoyed about you brought up the American Werewolf in London. That transformation scene, all practical effects back then. I mean, even now you look at that change and it's amazing. And then you take into account when it was filmed, and it's even more amazing.
Absolutely.
And I think that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I think that's what I enjoy the most about horror movies is that the behind the scenes stuff, the how they get things done.
Yep.
So I have a tough time matching up my memories of horror movies. Is that transformation scene, is that the one where like it looks straight up painful? Like it looks like bones are breaking and things like that in order to yeah,
you could see his hand and like the palm just stretches out.
Yep. Okay. That's the one I'm thinking about then. Yep.
Yeah, it's great. And then they made American Werewolf in Paris.
I liked it too.
I mean, for what it was.
Well, you got to take into account how few and far between movies are.
I'm painfully aware of that.
I know.
But when you take into account American Werewolf in London, how they were all about practical effects, and then they go to American Werewolf in Paris, and they're like, well, CGI is the hot thing now. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It's a product.
Yes, totally. I can agree.
Totally.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, horror, I think a lot relies on. I mean, like in order for a movie to be scary, the commentary it's making has to be on things that people are scared of on a different level. So, you had during when everyone was my thoughts like when you look at a zombie movie, right? You know what I mean? You have the progression of zombies. They go from the slow zombies to the fast zombies, and they were all meant to represent something else in that particular era. And they evolve as what's going on socially evolves and what people are scared of evolves.
Yep. We were watching a documentary about the evolution of horror, and when you get back into like the 30s and 40s, it was all about the horror of them. Like it's out there, communism, wartime America, all that good stuff. You get to Vietnam, and just from then on, everything's become extremely more cynical. And then it's the monsters are us. And then you get into the types of horror that I really enjoy from the 60s and 70s.
Then you got the modern day and like the movie Get Out, and like obviously that is all on racial injustice of today.
Yep.
And how it's not as out there, that's buried beneath the surface, and like that's what the commentary is all about in that.
Because people like to think, racism, it's not a huge thing in this day and age, but it's just not as out there. It's way more insidious and institutional than it think it is. It's still all over the place. It's very prominent,
and it's still terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't want to acknowledge it. And it's the fact that Jordan Peele took over the Twilight Zone, and he's putting out these amazing horror films.
This man,
It
that
just
man.
makes me all giddy inside, because Rod Serling was huge comment, a huge social justice activist, and nobody really wanted to read any of his writings. But if he put it in the tone of, aliens in outer space and monsters and spookiness, he could get away with whatever commentary in the time that he was a very scary time.
Yeah, I never would have thought that Jordan Matty Peele would be where he is now.
Right?
I mean, obviously, I always thought he was funny. Him and Key are like my favorite guys on their generation of Mad TV. And then, I just thought, oh, he's gonna go places. They're gonna go and do comedy. It's gonna be great. What the fuck?
Yeah. Like, I was severely impressed when I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
and then now he's going off and doing Lovecraft Country, which is also amazing.
Phenomenal. I'm a little bit behind on that one, but yeah, nothing but good things to say about it.
I think and this could be my own speculation, but I think when their show kind of petered out, because it had the Key and Peele show had like major success when it came out, and then just kind of dive bombed. And I think the success behind his name and yet his show petering off gave him the ability to go do something else that he wanted to do, which kind of freed him up to do the horror. And I think it surprised a lot of us. I mean, like, we all have our preconceptions, and like, mine was, oh, he's a funny man, but like, those movies, like you said, they're fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was expecting scary movie stuff with him.
Right.
Right.
When everybody told me he made a horror movie, I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but it's extremely relevant, and it's so well done, and just the concepts are amazing. I have both very low and very high expectations for horror movies. So if somebody asks me what's a good horror movie, I'm going to give them my list of okay horror movies, because most of them are just okay. But if I'm talking to somebody that I know is a horror movie fan and they say, what's a good horror movie, then I'm going to give them the cream of the crop. And I haven't really seen a very good horror movie since Get Out. I did enjoy Us. A little bit of it went over my head. I think I might have things, but Get Out is definitely a standout and has been for a while.
And it's a time for horror media. I mean, like, in general. I mean, think with the success of Get Out, we'd see more successful and good horror movies. I think a lot of it's ending up on TV and streaming. We saw, the success of Stranger Things.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which was huge. And that kind of harkened back to, like you said, horror movies you liked from the 80s. And that kind of hit that note. And then I haven't subscribed to it, but horror's got its own streaming service now with Shudder. Mm-hmm. Have either of you seen anything on Shudder?
A couple things. I actually watched the Boulet Brothers Dragula, which is a horror-based drag show that is fantastic. If you take RuPaul's Drag Race, but good.
I mean, that first season was kind of rough.
I mean, yeah, and you can see the progression of every season. Like, they get a little bit more budget, but it's been fantastic. I remember when I heard about Shudder a number of years ago as a channel, like before the whole streaming service, they were going to make a channel. And I did a lot of research because, of course, I read about it in Rue Morgue magazine, and then it was only Canadian-based. Didn't really come to the U.S., but I'm happy that it's a streaming service. I just haven't used it or too much.
Gotcha. But I mean, like, it's that time. I mean, like, we're all stuck at home because of there's plenty of stuff to watch. There's plenty of stuff to watch it on. And being that it is October, everybody's coming out in full force. Whether you've got Hulu or you've got Netflix or Amazon or whatever, the options are endless.
Yep. It's just a strange time because I remember, growing up a horror fan, growing up when the internet wasn't what it is now, because I grew up before internet. And we would go to the horror conventions, and you would only get exposed to the really out there stuff by the weird VHS guy in the dealer hall.
Sure.
Like, yeah. And you would get some shit, but there'd be a couple good ones in there. That's how I saw The Ring, and that's how I saw
that
Battle Royale when it was still banned in the U.S.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Fuck those movies.
Yeah. Talk about, I don't like being scared after the movie. That movie fucked me up for a long time, just because of the imagery and the visuals in it.
And then
you very well done.
And then you even bring up Battle Royale, which you can make the argument that it's not, but it is also kind of a horror movie as well. I mean, it's got the gore, it's got the blood, it's got the suspense. It's got hell of a social commentary.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's every bit of horror movie.
Yeah, VHS guy. And there was always the weird one, and then there was the good one. And everybody knew who the good VHS guy was because his VHSs had awesome covers. Like he would take time to print out sleeves and graphics.
Yep. Yep.
And he always run deals.
And it's funny too, because like you're talking about like growing up with internet and stuff like that. I remember like the horror like trailers and stuff that I saw growing up. We had the cheesiest shit back then. Like all you saw was like the Freddy Krueger and the Jason, all the really cheap horror movies, which it has its place. Like I remember like the first horror movie that I think I actually watched was The Gate.
Oh, so good.
Okay, but we can admit that that's cheesy, right?
It didn't age well.
It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It
didn't age well.
All right. Oh yeah, the claymation guys.
Oh my god.
Rough. But then I was horror that I actually liked with House 2 because it's silly as shit.
Yeah.
It is silly, it's funny, and I was like, okay, I can get behind this. So yeah. Oh yeah, Army of Darkness.
Evil Dead 2.
Not necessarily Evil Dead 1. That they tried to make that one scary. But yeah, the campy, funny, and not just the campy, scary, campy, funny horror is definitely the niche that I found.
Yep. I think Freddy tried to fit in there, but
a
little bit more. They gave him personality, which is awesome because I'm not huge into the slasher genre, but I do have a soft spot for Freddy Krueger. When I was in kindergarten, I told my mom he was my boyfriend. And that's when she realized I wasn't okay.
See, now, and I know you don't like Jason, but one of my favorite genres of horror, zombie movie, which should explain why I do.
It does. It does.
He's really just a zombie.
Out of all the Friday the 13th, I like one the best. I know. Well, I don't like Friday the 13th, but I did like the first one the best out of all of them. And I didn't care for Michael Myers' franchise, but I do respect what it brought to the genre.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think as far as zombie movies go, my favorite is Serpent and the Rainbow.
Oh, see, now you're just cheating. That's the one I always drop.
Yep. Well, it's so good.
Well, and people don't think of it as a zombie movie.
No, but it's
but it is. It is the most quote unquote accurate zombie movie out there. So yeah.
And I think the first horror movie I actually remember watching was Night of the Living Dead.
Oh no.
And I thought because it was black and white. These aren't cartoons.
I will say the reason why I like zombie movie the best is because my favorite genre, period, is post-apocalyptic, and that's what
there's your apocalypse. Yeah.
Yep.
Fair.
Except The Road. Fuck The Road. Don't ever watch The Road. God damn it.
I won't watch it.
Especially if you have a kid. Don't watch it if you have a kid.
Yeah, no. I actually had a pretty big problem because I was like phobic, point where it would get dark and and I would freak out when we drove past a graveyard, like, oh my God. But I would not put the horror movie down. I just couldn't do it. I had to have them.
So what would you say is, like, especially considering the time of year that it is right now, and we all know that there's a difference. What is you said your favorite horror movie, but what is your favorite horror movie for Halloween?
Trick or Treat.
Good. That's it. Oh, you mean the one with Alice Cooper? Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck you, no. No.
Oh,
Ginger Snaps is another good for our Halloween time.
Oh, fuck. How did I forget about Ginger Snaps?
Yeah, how'd you forget about Ginger Snaps?
So good.
Wolfman Kane.
So good.
It is so good. I really like the monster in it, too. I like the design. The creature design was really, really... And it was so low budget, but very well done.
Yeah, I think that's what probably made it the best is like they really used their money.
All three of them ended up being really good.
And it's fun. The funny thing, one of the best things I like about that is the really meta, like right in the beginning, where the girls are doing their death scenes. So they're like doing like horror special effects, but it's fake for the movie. What about you, Rick?
I'm a contrarian, so if somebody wants to watch a horror movie around Halloween, I'll purposely bring out like horror movies that are for other holidays.
Okay.
But you can do that.
Like My Bloody Valentine and Black Christmas. Yeah.
Nice.
Fair.
So my go-to treat But since it's already been taken, I will say Ernest Scared,
Oh, so good.
which I will count as a horror movie for the purpose of this conversation.
It's got a monster in it. It counts.
But another good one that a really long time go to is the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, that's
Okay.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
That shit is scary.
Yes, it is. We would watch that every year in school, starting in kindergarten. I thought, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We had that same tradition. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Actually, one of the earliest Halloween costumes I can remember, I went as the Headless because of that movie.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
That'd have been fun.
And it started my love of pumpkin carving.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Very cool. I was pretty proud to say, as far as like Halloween goes, I think up until this year, Lilith had a homemade costume every.
Yep. But crisis, all that.
Yep. I'll let it slide. Next year, though, he's a fucking transformer.
Yep.
Oh, geez. Setting the bar high.
I will build her a mech. Big O.
She will be Galvatron.
I've while Lily's still small, I have to put together Ripley with the loader costume.
Yes.
And I have to strap her to my chest and
Yep.
put on. I have to do it while she's still small enough to do it. And she's growing like a weed, 2, and she's got friends who are 4, and she's taller. And it's okay, I gotta hurry up on this thing.
Better get on it. You're running out of fridge boxes.
Running out of inches.
Yep.
So that's another good one too. Like you just remind me for Alien. When I worked at Blockbuster and people would come in and ask for they would ask me, say, all right, we're looking for a scary movie. What would you recommend? And I was like, and I never told them right away. I was like, okay, just follow me. And we'd walk right past the horrors and go to the sci-fi section. And I'd take them right to Event Horizon.
Oh, so amazing.
And they were like, really? In the sci-fi section. It's like, just trust me. Man, it never disappointed. They always came back. They were like, I was not expecting that.
No, cosmic horror is hard, but if it's well done, it is amazing.
Oh, yeah. That Event Horizon, wonderful Lovecraftian.
Yes, Lovecraft in space. Absolutely love it. It's so claustrophobic, and Sam Neill's my homeboy. I dig.
Oh, I mean, Sam Neill does Lovecraftian. And I will put this out as a disclaimer, fuck Lovecraft, but the genre, great. Love the genre. And
it's definitely one of those ones where you got to separate the art from the artist, because so much more has come out that has absolutely nothing to the fact that he kind of invented it. But
I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft erotica.
A lot of tentacles.
I submitted a story. I did not get Cthulhu erotica, but it's still a good read. It's an anthology book. I don't know that they're still putting them out. They're out.
The movie Dagon kind of dipped its fins into that, didn't they?
I loved Dagon.
A little bit of tentacle action there, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of incest, a little bit of fish fucking.
Yeah, very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Lovecraftian Star Wars, really.
Ooh,
oh god.
It is.
Oh my god, it is. What have I done? What have I done?
Okay, you need to break this down because I've never seen this movie.
Okay. Well, spoiler warning. So you have a young man, college age, so older than, but he goes to a distant land. He has an almost sexual encounter with a female who ends up being related to him. Also, come to find out that he is also the son of Dagon, right? But he is also he ends up being
he's the son of the original priest of Dagon.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's your Darth Vader, and then it come to find out that he also has these powers that these fish people have, and he embraces them.
And that was really well done too.
The fish people effects?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know what you were talking about.
I mean the movie, period.
It's
cheesy at times. When I first put it on, I almost turned it off, but it's actually that I read pretty frequently.
And tell me they didn't find a her to play that.
Oh, totally.
Oh my god. They're like, you know who we need? I can't remember his name. We need this guy. And they were like, well, he's a little too old. All right, well, guess that's exactly what they did.
Yep. We need tryouts.
Right.
Can you look like this guy?
can you look like this guy?
They held a lookalike contest, and
They
then
did.
Right.
they picked. Well,
Because I mean, you know what? He's not going to hear this podcast because let's face it, he wasn't that great of an actor. And boy, everybody else in that was Italian, weren't they?
Or Spanish.
Or Spanish? They were painfully European. But everybody else, especially the old guy. Fuck the closed captioning on that guy. I don't even think.
Oh my God! Yeah, you got to put subtitles on to understand him.
They were like, "Look, you're going to be drunk. Your character's going to be drunk," and did that, and showed up drunk and European, trying to speak English, and I think he gave up halfway.
Yeah,
It was bad, like really fucking bad. I to this
authentic
day,
though. I mean, if they wanted the character to be drunk, then
Oh my, oh yeah. I mean, the point was he was drinking to like forget all.
Oh, then perfect.
Yeah, and the fish people pretty much never paid him any mind because he's just the drunk guy and didn't really pose a threat.
I don't even think I understood what he said when he screamed.
No.
Was it a scream? I'm not even sure anymore.
It's a good one to watch though.
Oh yeah, and there's boobs, which I have to say makes every horror movie at least 10%.
And if they're dead boobs, 15% better.
Oh wow, that means the gift is like 25%. I'm not good.
I mean, can't that be said of any genre though?
Oh yeah,
just about any movie.
Yeah.
But horror, it's almost expected.
Oh, and I will say this: boobs make any movie 10% better. Reciprocating male nudity, though, that just takes it over.
Yep.
If you have female nudity in it, female presenting nudity in it, that's great. But I have a whole level of respect when they throw reciprocating male presenting nudity in it.
Yep.
Whole new level of respect.
Appreciate it.
Well, when it comes to horror movies, I mean, like if you want to get the teenage male, you throw nudity in, and not only because nudity is something the teenage male audience, everyone wants to see, really, but because teenage males are scared of it and scared to admit that, because
that's a hell of a point.
Number one fear for a teenage male is that they'll get called out on the fact that they know nothing.
I will say the number one fear for typical
of course,
like a male that is grown up in a society that is painfully toxic masculinity, which I grew up in that. I know what you're saying.
Right. There's all this sex going on that you're not having, and you know what I mean. You're always afraid you're going to get called out that you don't know about it.
Right, and people make fun of you for that shit.
Exactly.
So, yep. No, I get it.
So then you run across a movie like Alien, where you have a vagina born from an egg that then forces itself onto your face and then shoves its dick down your throat, impregnating your stomach, at which point its baby that also looks like a dick rapes its way out of your stomach.
Yep.
And I will say this, I will take it another step further, and I will say that as an American culture, America is afraid of sexuality.
Oh yeah.
So like especially like when you look at when you make the joke, the kids at the camp, Crystal Lake, every time they have sex, they get killed. That is just kind of reinforcing the whole be afraid of that sexuality. We are afraid of we're afraid of being punished for being sexual creatures, and that is a huge trope.
Yep. And then you end up with characters like Tooth Fairy from Silence of the Lambs, because he
watch that movie.
He was shamed and sex wasn't a great thing, and shaming the body, and then he just goes around killing people. Yeah. And Geiger's art is extremely vaginal, penile, all of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, you look at Aliens. I mean, Rick was saying that is definitely sex as a weapon.
It all starts with the egg, which is like the universal sign of
life. Yeah.
And then you throw Eve on it, then it's just a
whole lot of penetration and
woman hating.
And then the horror of childbirth. But then I think it's also cool that then you get Ripley, who can stand there in just a crop top and her underwear and not necessarily be presented as a sexual character. She's standing there as a fucking badass. You know what I mean?
It's anything to show that she's still standing there, brave, even that vulnerable, still ready to do what she.
Which I think is.
I never looked at her like, oh,
right.
She is, but I'm like, oh my god, she's
But not because she's an object.
right.
Right.
She's a force.
She was presented as a symbol of strength and not as a sex symbol in that movie, which
Right.
I thought was great. She wasn't sexual, is what I'm trying.
Right.
Everything that was the horror aspect could be seen as the sexualized aspect.
Mhm.
Man,
Right.
I don't think I'm ready to break down this movie.
It's a hard one. It's a tough
yeah.
one. There's so many layers. Like
Oof.
a lot of people are just horribly uncomfortable watching it from the franchise,
Oof.
and they can't really put their finger on it. But I think that might have something to do with it.
And then Ron Perlman. Oh, nothing. Yeah.
I was like, where's he going? I was like, yeah, he exists in the franchise, yeah.
He's got a face for makeup.
And they just left him horribly out of it in that one.
They did.
Look, we're not saying you're ugly, Ron, but you are definitely equipped for makeup. You know it. We know it. You're not
Everybody else knows it.
Everybody else knows it. You are like one step below Doug Jones.
Well, while we're talking about actor, why don't we go into who is your favorite horror actor, your favorite horror icon?
You know what? Fuck it.
Once again,
I'll stick with Doug
small
Jones.
list is okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Brad. Doug Jones. Doug Jones is a motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
He is indeed. Just because of all the characters that he's played that you don't know, you never see his face.
Right?
Never see his face, but you can tell.
I think the only time you get to see his face in a horror movie is when he played that ice cream man.
Yes.
But even then, his face just distorts after that.
Yep.
Oh, and then when he was in the second Fantastic Four movie, that was terrifying.
I hate the Fantastic Four, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Simon Pegg.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
I will definitely. I mean, once again, it's not a traditional, but like all the movies in the Cornetto trilogy, I think are great, and they're all horror movies.
They're all horror.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe not traditional, but like, they are all horror movies, especially once you get to the twist.
Man, I'll tell you, I haven't seen him in a lot of horror movies, but Bill Nighy, yeah, that dude should be in more horror movies. I mean, he is a force, man. That dude, you want to talk about a face for makeup? This dude is he is made for horror, and he should be.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's played some really good.
Who else? I mean, well, Sigourney Weaver, Christ. I mean, with the Alien movies, and then if you want to count it, Ghostbusters.
How can you not count it?
And Cabin in the Woods.
And Cabin in the Woods.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
I completely forgot that she slipped in there in the end.
Mm-hmm.
What about directors?
Model.
Oh, he's just frightening.
He is. And I really wish people would trust him with the budget that he wants for the Mountain of Madness.
I'm assuming you're saying Edgar Wright, Rick.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
Okay. To be fair, I'd say Edgar Wright, no matter what podcast we were doing, if it comes down to director. I mean, the man knows cinematography. The man knows how to put together a shot and like edit and like line the sound up with what's going on the screen. Right. I mean, like I'll sing Edgar Wright's praises.
I'm gonna throw you guys for a twist here. Bet you never ever would have expected me to say this.
The guy that did Midsummer?
No, fuck that guy.
No, that guy's amazing. Amazing.
I meant that complimentary. John Carpenter.
You can't not mention him.
I wasn't expecting it though. You're right.
Yeah,
not from you.
Right.
Yeah, not for me.
Not from you.
He's got because I'm including him in it also his additions to the.
Yeah, his scores are awesome.
Oh fuck! Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, he changed the game.
Yeah.
How that some dorky college students changed the whole game on horror. That was great. That Bazicam, great. Oh, and then he works tentacle sex into one of his movies, which was shocking to me. I was like, what?
Sure, why not?
Dang trees. Oh yeah. No, I'm really happy with my John Carpenter.
Argento.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
He's a.
Yeah, I have such a boner for the use of color in movies, which he's not a horror guy, but Wes Anderson, that's why I love his. The whole aesthetic of a movie is very important.
Oh, can you imagine a Wes Anderson horror movie?
No.
Yeah, right. well,
it would be phenomenal.
And Owen Wilson.
Yeah, Owen Wilson would be in it. And Bill Murray.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh man.
You got any more, Rick?
Not specifically, no. Like I said, we don't do a whole lot of structure.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
So
Here we go. I mean, like, we're going to be listening. Our listeners are going to be listening around Halloween. So I know we already discussed, what's your favorite, Halloween. But our average listener who's listening, they're going to watch a couple of movies, possibly on Halloween, to get into the spooky mood. What exactly are you recommending people, and why? Let's go into it.
I guess it would have to go into what are they into, because even your horror movie fan, they have their own specific subgenre of horror that they like, or subgenre of horror that they avoid. Like, I usually tend to avoid revenge films because they can be a little bit triggering.
Okay, that's fair.
As far as like to get in the spooky feeling, definitely Suspiria, because of the use of color in the film and the subject matter. It's fantastic. Session 9 is a really good one. It's very claustrophobic and very dark, with a surprising amount of the supernatural portion of it. Like, it's not necessarily what it's based on, but it's really interesting.
Nothing better than a movie that makes you really feel like you're alone.
Yeah, and it's got the CSI guy in it. You know the guy, Brad.
I stepped away for a second, so
yeah,
I didn't. Are we talking about Manhunter?
No, Session 9.
Ooh, oh yeah.
May is a really good one to watch. It's based around Halloween, and it's a weird kind of independent film, I think. But I enjoyed that one.
I'm going to step back to the Cornetto trilogy, because it's 3 movies. You can watch them back to back. They aren't necessarily a trilogy in that, like, they all take place in like series or anything like that, but like it's a nice tight little package. You know what I mean? You know what you're in for. You've got similar actors. You've got the same aesthetic across all the movies, and you can kind of watch them back to back to back. And
yeah, they're totally easy watches.
Exactly, and there's nothing too challenging. I mean, it's just a little bit of spook, a little bit of fun, just get you going.
I would recommend Cabin in the Woods down to anybody.
Oh my God, Cabin in the Woods.
As well as Get Out. Cabin in the Woods really redefined. Like, you had Scream that kind of, broke the mold. It was fantastic when it came out, but Cabin in the Woods is another one of those movies that was like, oh wow.
Cabin in the Woods got me to start watching, because for a long time I wasn't watching these at all.
It got me excited for horror again.
A friend of mine recommended that movie, and it was a friend of mine who had never steered me wrong. I was like, all right, I'll watch the movie. And just like the entire deconstruction and how they looked everything right in the face and called it exactly what it was, I was like, I didn't realize do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, up until that point, I don't think they did. I mean, like you said, Scream was about as close as they came, where you had like that one character who like would be like, oh, you have to do this in horror movies and you have to do this in horror. But Cabin in the Woods just straight up put it out on Front Street.
They wrote the formula on a blackboard and let you.
And then
pissed on it.
Yes. And then right after that, one of my favorite tabletop games came out, The Betrayal at the House on Haunted Hill, which is basically that movie in board game form.
Nice.
Because I don't know if you've ever played it, Ashley. Okay, so in this game,
that needs to be changed.
I've talked about it a lot on this podcast, and it's not going to stop today. So in that game, you play a group of people who are all exploring this house on a hill. And as you go through, you start to pick up these items and cards. And the more items you pick up, the more likely that the haunt will happen. And so depending on what item you picked up in what room, consult a chart in a book that tells you what horror movie you'll be playing in for the second half of it.
Okay.
So like that's basically the basement from Cabin when they're going through all the different items and everything like that. So what item you picked up really does determine what horror gets unleashed upon you.
Well, that's fun.
So not only did I see that movie and then really enjoy that movie, but then that game came out and I started playing that game a lot. And I was like playing the movie while I got to watch the movie, and it just kind of an intersection just became like the perfect little experience to get me back into watching some horror.
Also, that werewolf in that movie he looked cool. That's my.
There's a couple people that I follow on YouTube. Pause, and they would point out each monster, like the Reavers from Firefly.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't realize it. Like, you can go through and watch that elevator over and over and almost see something new every time. And
they didn't skimp on any of it. Like every single monster was. You could tell they they took their time putting it together, even if it was only going to be on screen
Oh
for
yeah.
like half a frame,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It was definitely a love letter to horror fans,
Oh yeah, definitely.
which I appreciate.
And also any movie that can put a unicorn and make it one of the killers is A-okay in my book. The fact that they were on the list, they were on the fucking list.
I would have loved to have been a part of that brainstorm.
It's like, all right, let's put unicorns in there. Todd, you know what? Fuck it, put it in.
You know what? It's 3 in the morning. We need one more. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ, Todd.
And
Then
you
we
know,
get
they have to let you know distinctly that zombie is different from zombie redneck murder family.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And that's probably Todd's big argument. It's like, you put in zombies and then zombie murder redneck family. You won't let me have a fucking unicorn? Fine. Fuck it, Todd. Put the unicorn in. Gee.
You, Todd.
Fuck you, Todd. Not a fan of Todd.
And the engineers were
Oh,
phenomenal.
oh my gosh.
Just
Yeah.
both of them are fantastic. And I'm going to say the one guy because I don't know.
Right.
But he's
There's
in a ton of
glasses and
things.
not glasses.
The not glasses
There you go.
is in Get Out, but he's also
Yes.
in The Handmaid's Tale. He's in a ton of stuff, and I absolutely love him. Peralta's dad.
Yeah.
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 A lot of stuff.
He is.
Also, is the other guy, though. God, man, I feel so bad. Again, you guys aren't listening. So
Good old glasses.
So, wait, what was this? What we would recommend for Halloween?
Yeah.
All right. So I will say this. I have this thought out, and I've always had this thought out. But there are also movies I've already mentioned. For the adults, ones who are wanting a big scare, who are wanting blood, who are wanting horror, Trick or Treat. Now, I will say this, that I am a fan of the holiday, and I love the things that I watched as people will just watch horror all through October. No, give me Halloween. So for the adults who want to scare, Trick or Treat. Also great. The dude that directed it's from Ohio. I believe it's filmed in Ohio. Good. For the kids, Ernest Scared Stupid.
Fair.
Those two movies. And in fact, as an adult, watch them both. Don't be a dick. Watch them both. You will enjoy them. Ernest Scared Stupid is the best Ernest movie out there. I don't care.
It is.
Canon. You know what? Guild Decree.
Wow.
Guild Decree. Ernest
Fair.
Scared Stupid is the best Ernest movie ever
That's a big decree.
Yep.
That is,
concur.
because that's a lot of movies.
made.
I concur.
Oh, you know what? No. Okay. Ernest Scared Stupid, best movie that Jim Varney was ever a part of. Fuck you. Guild
Wow.
Decree.
Guild decree.
Okay.
Yeah, you heard me out there. You heard me out there, everybody listening. Ernest Scared Stupid is better than Toy Story.
I will once again remind any listeners that Baron does run our Twitter account, so at Casters Guild.
Sorry, it started out heavy. I needed to make it heavier.
I'll throw Paranorman out there as far as us to watch.
I keep forgetting about that movie, and that movie is wonderful.
And Coraline.
Mm-hmm.
Coraline, yeah.
That's a horror movie. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh yeah.
Oh, totally. They both are.
Yeah, well, I mean, Paranorman is more like your Ghostbusters horror,
Yeah.
and Coraline is more like your what the fuck, what?
I was shocked at how heavy Paranorman got.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
You watch that dude die in front of him? That was crazy.
Look at that. It went right through.
But Coraline, that's like some fake propaganda shit.
Yes. Yes.
I got addicted to Corpse.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas. Fuck it. That's a good one to watch too. Not really horror. I don't think it's horror at all. That's a fantasy movie. I don't think it's it's not even scary for kids. It's fun and it's light. It's a Halloween movie, but it's also
an identity. It's an identity crisis.
Yeah,
Well, that's a whole separate thing that like we can make like a little sub part of this particular podcast. There's a ton of Halloween movies that aren't horror movies, which is fine. You know what I mean? You can go watch your Hocus Pocus and your Halloween, your Nightmare Before Christmas.
Which I'm totally guilty of. I have never seen Halloween Town.
Now you can. Disney Plus has never been easier to get it, and they're all on there. You don't have to wait for them to show up on Disney Channel, in front of the TV at the right time. You just watch them back to back.
Good deal.
They're not great.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Oh, thank you.
The only thing.
I imagine it's much like like a Lifetime network is what I imagine.
Yeah, no, good call. Good call.
Yeah.
It's Halloween Town. What keeps Halloween Town coming back every year is nostalgia. Like people watched it when they were really little kids. Same thing with Scary Godmother. Like that movie is
so
terrible.
but cute.
Yeah, but like, people watched it for a kid. They got really into it as a kid, especially if they were like the ski kid, because what's out there for this? There isn't a whole lot. So, you know what I mean? They latch onto it, and then you got the nostalgia. And
see, that's why I'm glad.
Every year.
That's why I'm glad they Nightmare Before, because that was there. That was there for the spooky kids when there was nothing else.
I went to the shit when it came out.
Wow.
That was even there
from Burger King.
Wow.
That was even there for the spooky adjacent me, Baron. Yep.
That's me. I mean, yeah, it was great. It was great, and it had a werewolf in it.
Yep.
I mean,
that's all it took. You're sold. Yeah.
Done. Ski.
Ruby Gloom is another one. Good
for
kids.
That is a great TV series, but yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, the theme song got spawned through most of her shots when she was getting her first set of shots.
I've never seen anything from it, but I've seen the covers and stuff, and Edgar and Allen looks fun for kids.
It's super cute.
Spawn's not a fan.
No.
She had a few books, and she was just like, "Yeah, I don't want them." But I do think it's funny. I mean, now we're going off on a tangent, but the whole Ruby Gloom thing, I thought it was funny that it was a merchandise line before it was a cartoon. Well, I mean, I guess so was all the shit that I liked when I was a kid.
Oh,
too,
yeah. Especially when you were a kid. Like, that's all cartoons were commercials to sell toys. The Transformers, He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was all just
yeah. Oh, I mean, well, thinking about it too, and I know we brought up Halloween, but you also brought up seasonal, holiday specific horror movie. And what the fuck is wrong with Hollywood? It's like they can take anything. They can take anything and just turn it into a scary movie at this point. Like you mentioned Valentine's Day, Christmas. I think there's an Arbor Day one.
Look, it catches a lot of crap, but I really like My Bloody Valentine 3D. I really like that. I actually saw it in 3D in the theater when it came out, and I really like that.
I have a pissing match with because I was super excited for Cabinets to come out and had to wait an additional year because they wanted to make it.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that was a big thing with me 3D because there was as soon as it hit, it became a craze. There were movies that were about to come out, and they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, we need to cash in on this 3D craze." Which, by the way, all of you listening out there right now, when I talk about this just being a craze and how it wasn't going to last, guess what? Fuck your 3D. It's over. No one's watching 3D shit anymore.
It'll come back.
Damn it.
They'll come out with some sort of new 3D technology. Then it'll be like, oh, 3D is new again. It'll be back.
You're right.
Yep.
It'll be back. If it doesn't come back, then it'll be like a VR thing, because VR got really big for a while, and you got your Oculus Rift and stuff like that.
You know what though? With the crisis and everything, everybody has to watch their shit at home now. Yeah, you're right. That could be the next 3D craze, is watching movies in VR.
Yep.
Because you can already watch movies in the theater using your Oculus. If you have a 3D headset, there's usually a setting on it that you can watch literally whatever movie you want, and it'll put you in a theater. You can look around and see other seats, stuff like that. And so it's as close as you're going to get to a theater experience.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
Now imagine watching that with 3D. I don't know.
I mean, it's an interesting concept for a horror movie. You start out like that, then the movie you're watching becomes 3D. Then something comes out of the screen, since you're in a virtual experience, and comes into the theater, and that's part of the whole movie experience.
That's very Freddy's Dead of you. Which is probably one of my favorites of the Nightmare on Elm Street.
It would be.
So cheesy. Oh, it's terrible, but it's terrible in such a good way.
I think that's a lot of people's go-to on that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, fucking Science Theater did a whole entire franchise with So Horrible. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That's a whole other brand of horror movies right there.
Like I got exposed an astonishing amount of horror movies that I did not know existed.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, all black and white and weird.
Well, Night of the
Oh, man.
Shrew was one of them.
Science was so scary once upon a time. So scary. So many giant animals and mutations and commies. It's just crazy.
All the
Yeah.
classic Universal monsters.
Oh, yeah.
That's history based. Yeah. I didn't realize that these made only years after the atomic bomb was dropped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
100% about atomic horror. I mean, like it's
And it was really interesting because one of the documentaries that I watched, they mentioned if you go back and watch the original Godzilla, it's a much more somber tone than any of the Godzillas following. Completely
especially if you
different.
watch the original Japanese, like the
Right.
I do like how it started out as like, definitely like Godzilla definitely started out like the atomic horror kind of thing. But then kind of shifted. Godzilla was pretty much almost like the protector of Japan. All these other monsters were coming in, and Godzilla would pop up, be like, nope.
Yep.
And yeah, good deal. Yeah, I never really thought. I knew the parallel between the bomb and knew that he's representing that horror, but yeah, I'd never thought that he kind of twisted that around for him to become almost. I mean,
that's what you call owning it.
Yes, exactly. And I mean,
Take it
really,
back.
if you think about it, and you like ask any American, it's like, hey, if you had to give Japan a mascot, what would it be? How many people would say Godzilla? Get out. In context of this conversation, to the specific instance, everybody would say Godzilla. You're right, it would be Pikachu. God damn it.
#1 media selling franchise of all time.
Their horror's on point.
Yes.
Weird, but on point.
That's an interesting question though. So like we obviously look at Japanese horror and go, wow, that's weird horror. But like, is it opposite in Japan? Like, do they look at American horror and go, wow, that's really weird?
Okay, I shit you not. Thinking about this, us working up this podcast, that exact thought into my head.
I think it depends on movie, obviously, because I mean, you have The Ring, you have Ju-on, The Grudge.
Yeah.
Those went over pretty well. When you talk about a haunted video, it sounds really stupid, but oh my god, when you watch it, that shit is terrifying. But then you get to Tetsuo, Machine Man, and you're like, what?
The body hammer. Oh no, it was machine. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, like there's some weird J horror out there.
Would that even be considered horror?
It's a body horror, yeah. You
Oh.
look at Cronenberg, I mean, Jesus Christ. The Thing and all that is anything that is like a body tour.
And then there was, I mean, you could almost consider Death Note a horror.
It counts. Death Demons,
Attack on Titan.
Oh, Attack on Titan is 100% horror. That is a horror.
So,
That's so weird.
I'll tell you, I had a hard time watching because it made me feel icky. And to the people listening at home, when I say it made me feel icky, if you like horror, watch it. If it made me feel icky, that is your litmus test of, hey, maybe I should watch it.
The Spawn actually was into it, and we were scrolling through Netflix. Oh, it's Attack on Titan. I'm like, okay, let's put it on. I'd never seen it before, and then I thought, what?
Any anime that can make you feel something, that's exactly what that did. It made me feel something. I'm on board for it. I mean, now, to be fair, I fell off after season because after this, like it's starting to get that lost syndrome where they're raising way more questions. Just like, I'm only unsettled for so long. After a while, I'm just frustrated. Like,
Fair.
That whole show is so weird.
It is. I think I had to do some internet research for it to make any sort of sense in my brain. Is this really what I'm watching? Yep, that's what you're watching. Okay.
That is what you're
I
watching.
wanted to make sure that's what I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a lot of those other elements of horror than just them. You've got the Titans. Titans are scary. They're going to eat you. But then there's also, you've got your ruling class that's safe inside this third wall. And they are basically forcing the underclass to go out beyond the wall to fight these Titans. And it's a whole other thing of horror within the city itself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's just a whole bunch of levels of yeah, because I mean, you could stick with the whole visceral people getting ripped apart horror of the whole thing, but then what really is the scary?
And then when you find out that the Titans are just people,
that fucking threw me off. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, oh well, I mean, okay, that makes sense why they're slicing there, but did they know that?
They did not. That's the
Right.
thing. They didn't. And then you got to figure. And then there's like that whole other unsettling thing of what's going on, what a greater story. What's going on with this other group of people that they're becoming these giant things. There's your body horror right there, the transformation and attacking this city.
And then, like, are they the next stage of human evolution? This what we are becoming? What is the human race becoming? Are we becoming a bunch of monsters?
And this is the exciting questions that got me through season 1 and season 2. And season 3 came along, and I was like, I'm still asking these questions and so many more. And I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Y'all are troopers because I only made 3 episodes.
Just the fact that it was anime got me further. I didn't make it to the second. I did read ahead a bit. Speaking of horror from other countries, what about that Pan's Labyrinth?
Oh my god. My god.
Yeah.
I have never wanted to beat somebody to death with a liquor bottle more.
That's a very specific feeling.
Oh, it's a very specific scene.
That's true.
Oh man,
it's brutal.
That hits you in a visceral way too. Yes. If you had any doubt that was a horror movie, boom, right there.
Yep. It's just so my god. The story is amazing.
And Mitch McConnell was in it. Great.
I hadn't put that on my list of reasons to love Pan's Labyrinth, but I'm gonna have to from now on.
Because Mitch McConnell was in it. He's very, very accurate. Very accurate. You have seen it, haven't you?
Yes. Okay. I mean, the last time I saw Pan's Labyrinth, I was still in high school, a sophomore or a junior. So I mean, like, I probably deserves another watch.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that you watch and you're like, as you get so angry and then you get disgusted and then sad. Like, I don't think there's a time I've watched that movie and haven't cried at the end.
Well, it's like it's fucked up because you watch it and it's like, oh, this is a great fairy tale. And then it's like, oh, and then real life happens. It's a horror movie. This is horrible. Oh, more fantasy. Oh.
I have to be careful watching like that now I'm a dad because like nothing used to faze me when it came to and stuff like that. Like I could always 100% separate myself and go, this is the screen, this is the real world. And like I never cried at anything. And now that I'm a dad, I cry at commercials. Like,
what was the commercial for that game? What game was that?
It was Dead Island. We already talked about it. We talked about it, I guess, last time.
Oh my god!
Now that I'm a dad, I cry at commercials. I cry at TV shows. Yeah. I cried at Wreck-It Ralph 2.
And?
I went and saw Wreck-It Ralph 2 in theaters and cried.
Yeah. Like, I mean, are you not supposed to?
I mean, apparently you are, because I'm not the only one. But like, yeah. So like now, like if I watch like sad movies, like I'm afraid to go back and watch movies like Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, fuck that movie.
Because like, even when I was like emotions when watching these, I would still get something from that movie. You like choked up a little bit. And like now I can only imagine if I went back and watched.
I think I distinctly remember you telling me not to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, distinctly. You should watch it though, Ash. It's not emotional at all.
Shut up.
Oh, right.
I mean, I have it.
Have you not seen it?
I flirted with it, but I'm like, not in the mood to cry.
I mean,
if I cry and I didn't expect it, okay. But if I know this me cry, more than likely I won't watch it.
If you don't want a straight up ugly cry, bawl, like just don't watch. Just don't.
Speaking of, I did not realize it was going to make me ugly cry. The last episode of Haunting of Hill House.
Keep hearing about it.
Oh my god!
I haven't seen it.
So the whole series is amazing. Like, it's one of those series that I would watch and then I would be afraid to walk upstairs and go to the bathroom all the night because
it's available.
Netflix. So yeah, you get really attached to these characters and it's a phenomenal story and it's the shots are amazing. And then you get to the last episode and it just rips your heart out and shits on it. And it came out of nowhere. Like there are different times, different parts of the series where I would tear up and I'm
Netflix
it's a scary house show. Why am I crying? But that last episode, it was ridiculous.
Netflix is killing it. I mean, like they've got that. They've got Stranger Things, Black Mirror, including the interactive movie Bandersnatch.
That was a good one.
I actually watched that one. Yeah, that was really good. Speaking
of, get all the endings.
So we watched that a couple times.
Did you get?
Well, okay.
Did you get all the endings?
To be fair, the fact that I watched it should be enough. But I did get a couple endings, I think. But I think I was privy to a couple endings, I should say. I was privy to a couple endings.
Yeah, when it first came out, the day it came out, Tiffany and I sat down and we explored that thing until we found all the endings. But we were huge Black Mirror fans up until.
That's the only Black Mirror. That's the only Black Mirror I've seen.
It took them a couple to stride.
And then they canceled it.
And then they came.
As Netflix do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't cut off Stranger Things halfway.
It got too big.
Yeah. But you're right. Netflix is killing it. They're putting out a lot of good movies, a lot of good TV shows, but they have to.
Yeah.
Because Disney.
Yeah.
They have to put money into their shit now, or they will fail.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah.
Disney's got too many good things behind it. It's already got a built-in library, and they're killing it when it comes to the original.
Oh, so. Fuck yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, yeah, and you could argue, is it original content because it's based off of stuff, but
I don't know what you're talking about, but I can't wait for the next season, The World According to Blue.
That's the thing?
Yeah. Oh my
gosh.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus. Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I thought you knew about it. I feel bad now that I didn't tell you about this.
I've been living in a cave for the last 3 years.
Okay. Do you have Disney?
I don't.
Okay. You need to get Disney Plus because there's a show called The World of Jeff Gold. And it's basically a series, and each episode is like 45 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken. And he'll pick a topic like Gene, and then he'll delve into the world of denim for the next 45 minutes. And it's amazing content.
It sounds phenomenal. And everything that I need.
He is a blessing.
He is also.
And
which is also a great horror movie.
It's a body horror movie. It is gross.
Oh man, I couldn't. I was watching it when I was younger, and I had to stop.
I was watching it, and I was Fruity Pebbles, and I had to stop.
Wow.
It showed him when he started puking on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Before you had very colorful throw up.
Yep, I had to stop. It was gross.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, who did that? Cronenberg?
Of course he did. I mean,
I think it's safe to say any gross body horror is probably.
You do your thing.
Yep. Did you gag? Cronenberg. Could you smell it through the screen? Cronenberg.
Wow. Also, wow. What's wrong with that man?
I don't.
Has anybody checked on him?
Oh, I don't think so. 2020 could not be doing him very well right now.
There's probably a list of people we should be checking right now, and
well, we need to email him and be like, look, whatever you're thinking, stop writing it.
Whatever shit you're working on, put it down.
Please stop.
At least tone it back. You're probably at a 13. We need to get a 7.
I promise you, there's enough mucus already.
Him and Eli Roth. Just put the pencils.
Woo! I enjoy Eli Roth.
Oh, you mean Zachary Quinto's twin brother?
Yep.
Eyebrows himself.
Eyebrows himself. Eyebrows McGee.
Eyebrows McGee. Okay, now of all the people that we've talked about, Eli Roth is most likely one to listen podcast. So let's say.
Oh, so he's nobody.
Wow, that's not what I said, Eli. That is not what I said.
Because that's who's most likely to listen to this podcast. Just saying.
Wow.
He's the man. He is.
I couldn't pass up on the self-deprecating.
Right? Yeah. Remember the app that he made?
He friended me on it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still going. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I can't remember. It just kind of, everybody stopped doing stuff on it, so I just kind of got off of it.
Mm-hmm. I can't even remember the name. It was like a Facebook for horror fans.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. I mean, I wasn't even a big horror movie fan, but it was kind of cool to be on.
So is there anything coming out of horror anytime soon that you're excited for?
Well, The Haunting of Bly Manor came out, and I killed it in a couple days. It was like the second coming of the Hill House from the same people. There's a lot of the same actors in it. It's decent. It's okay.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. There are some tear jerkings, and the end is absolutely very sad, but very well done. It's a good story. As far as the upcoming stuff, I really haven't heard much of anything. I don't really keep a good ear out. I just hear about things here and there, and then I'm like, ooh, I need to write that down, and then I don't, and then I forget about it.
Marvel was trying to convince me that Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be a horror movie. Can I say it?
Yeah.
All right.
one of the reasons I'm very excited for it.
And the Morbius.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
I want to see some more superhero horror movies because honestly,
they're
Brightburn
coming.
wasn't very good.
They're coming.
I'm a huge fan of Justice League Dark. I watch it frequently.
Oh, I mean, and Constantine.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Constantine's a good one. But yeah, with Blade coming out, that's going to be a big fucking deal. And
I totally forgot about Blade.
And if it does well, they're probably going to do some Midnight Sun
I'm
stuff.
not familiar.
Midnight Sun stuff is like it's the Justice League Dark
Gotcha.
of Marvel.
I'd love to see a Moon Knight.
You're not going to get one. You know why?
Why?
Because he's getting a whole TV series. He's getting a whole TV series.
Well, it better have some horror in it. Be horror focused.
Oh yeah, I think that's why it can be a little more fucked up than what a movie could give them.
Okay, that'll be nice then.
Oh yeah.
Hellstorm was good.
Oh yeah.
Which I believe is.
Yep, Hulu. That's a Marvel thing.
Yep, it was good.
Speaking of Hulu and Halloween, I think it was Hulu. It's got the Halloween Bake Off Challenge, which has been my deep pleasure as of.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch that. I like cooking shows.
Are they making like cakes and shit, or is it?
It's all different challenges. So yeah, there's a lot of cakes. There's like a lot of different infections, stuff like that. Like they'll be like, oh well. Like one of the challenges was they all had to draw a card, and that card had like a different Halloween costume on it, and then they had to make a cake based around that Halloween costume. And like another one, they had to like do like something that would make you grossed out to look at it, but it was still delicious. And all kinds of it's good.
It's fun.
It's that kind of stuff you put on in the background when you're like doing other stuff around, and like peek at the television screen. And when we can't figure out what else to watch, we're like, oh well, let's watch some more Halloween Bake Off Championship.
Fair. I have a Halloween playlist on our TV. It's full of Treehouse of Horror.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Different Halloween episodes, so like Bob's Burgers Halloween episodes on there. Night. It's kind of a cheat to put all of the Addams Family and all of the Munsters, so it's the specific show. But I do have.
Oh, no. I just heard today, and I could be just because I'm behind the times here, but I just heard today that Tim is doing an Addams Family movie.
I have heard whisperings, but I don't know that it's been confirmed.
And I mean, we know who's going to be Gomez if he is doing it, right?
Totally.
All right.
Helena
And then, yeah, obviously. No, she's going to be cousin it.
I don't know if they do stuff with her divorced, I think.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, they were divorced back when other movie. I mean,
gotcha. Well, it'll be the usual suspects.
It'll be Johnny Depp as Gomez, it'll be Eva Green and it'll be two creepy kids that he will find on the street.
I think the standings are too old now.
Oh my god, that's exactly who I was thinking too. Who would play? You know what? That's the big one. Who would play Fester?
Christopher Lloyd's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Put his ass in it.
Bring him back. Bring his ass.
Oh that would get all the Addams Family fans in. Like they'd be in at that point. Like they wouldn't care how good the movie was as long as you put Christopher Lloyd in it. They would go and see it.
Oh, speaking of horror movies, Christopher Lloyd was in Piranhas 3D, I think, which was just a few years ago. I think I'm pretty sure it was just a hey bud, do you need the money?
No, that was either hey you owe me or I want a new pair of shoes.
Yeah, because that motherfucker shouldn't need the money. He's been in so many TV shows that are in syndication now.
He was just like, I ain't got shit else going on, and I actually he might have actually like giggled at the script or something. Like, okay,
look,
I'm bored.
I'm telling you, if I was an actor that probably had the money that he had, like, and I was well-to-do, didn't need to work again day of my life, you know, I was Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
like, hey man, we have this horror movie about a killer car tire running around. You want to be in it? Yep, put me in. Do it. I don't care.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead and kill me during the first 15 minutes. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. By the way, that's a real movie.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Just out of principle.
Watch it. If you're gonna watch it, pirate it. Don't give it any.
And you know what? If you like it, then go back and throw money at it. Fine, whatever. Just don't go on it with a recommendation of mine, please.
Was that one of the Masters of Horror movies? Was that one of the?
Oh man, I hope not.
Dan Harmon said that like Apple TV and Netflix and stuff should have like a just kidding button. So like when you watch something or you buy it like in order to watch it, like you're not saying that you like this movie. Like he's like, I'm just watching this to laugh at it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this does not mean I want to see more of this.
I mean, that's a good question too. What's your favorite really bad horror movie? Fuck, that was fast.
The gem.
I didn't even have time to think about mine.
It still has a theme song.
Oh no, I got it.
Attack of the.
Aren't those the same movies?
I mean,
oh my god, they should have a crossover.
They should.
Attack of the Killer Clown Tomatoes.
Or Killer Clowns is Killer Tomatoes.
Oh snap!
I'm making it.
Do it.
No, okay, you ready? Mine. I'm cheating, and I'm sorry. Monos.
That is absolute cheating. Because that shit is so terrible, it is awesome. When the Mystery Science Theater guys apologize for making them watch it,
yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was.
Did you guys ever see the Attack of Tomatoes in cartoon?
Yes. Yes. In fact, that's the only one I ever saw. Which is funny because I should have watched it because Gomez Adams.
Yep.
Father of Samwise. He's still alive, right? John Austin.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Google it.
You're Googling. Oh, that's not a good tiding if I just believe.
I'm
Oh
gonna guess no.
my God. Very much alive.
Holy shit, good for him.
Yep. Born in Baltimore, Maryland there.
Hey.
There you go.
Horror comes out of Baltimore.
Yeah, man.
A bunch of creepy people come out of Baltimore. Let's just be real.
That's true.
Oh, he currently lives in Baltimore, Maryland.
Let's go visit.
Yeah, let's go. Hit him up. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guy.
Please sign this Funko.
Could you say something French? And he needs to.
I would die.
Right?
That would be the end of my life.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's all.
Well, if you take anything away from this episode, take away recommendations. We threw out so many names of movies, so many directors, so many themes, so many TV shows, even though it wasn't a TV show episode. This was the episode for you to listen and get ready for Halloween because, man, we covered all your bases. Be sure when you do watch these movies, come back and let us know what you think. Maybe come back with some recommendations of your own. I would love to hear it.
Oh, yeah. I'm one of those people, you want to watch a scary movie? I never ask what kind. I'm always, sure. Yeah. Fuck me up. Yeah.
Fuck me up, fam.
All right. So, Ashley, if people like what you've had to say and they want to find you somewhere else on the internet, where can they?
I'm on Instagram. I think my handle is Vina Cava. I think.
You can find you that way.
Yeah.
VENACAVA.
Also Facebook. I have a page for Vina Cava. Also TikTok. I'm not very active. Hopefully I'm going to start to be active though, and then no more school and now relaxing.
Watching horror movies.
Hopefully that'll pick back up.
Yeah, and I'll put some links later. All right. So as usual, email us at casters.com your recommendations for horror movies and any other questions you might have for us. We might place a whole episode.
Oh yeah.
Email us as much as you want. Find us on Twitch. I'm not sure what our new Twitch handle will be just yet, but keep an ear to the ground because the train is and look for us November 7th for our donate there. There's links in the description down below. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Later.
Bye.
Watch some horror.
What'd you call me?